the truck. Apologize for the late start, you guys. I was watching the New York Marathon. I know some people might wonder, why would you watch a marathon? But these guys are really fast. So anyways, welcome to episode 20 of the Walk and Talk podcast. If this is your first time joining, how this works is I take you guys for a 1 hour long walk. Do this every Sunday, usually at 11 a.m., but today it was a little bit late because I wanted to see the runners finish. Hold on, I gotta spit real quick. And so that's what happened. What I normally do, cover a wide variety of topics, but I like to kind of keep things fitness related, but as it is a live Q&A, you guys, of course, can ask me anything you want. Otherwise, I'll be talking about fitness and diet-related topics. My qualifications, if that's something that interests you guys, I have done 7 natural bodybuilding shows, and I've run one full marathon myself. So I just ran my own marathon 2 weeks ago. It was the Detroit Marathon. As you can see, I'm in a neighborhood right now called Birmingham, Michigan. So this is maybe 20 to 25 miles outside of Detroit. It's a nice neighborhood. I don't live here, but I like to come here and get the scenic views. Unfortunately, I'm getting some lens flare. Let me see if I can wipe my lens. It didn't quite work, but that's okay. This past summer, I went kayaking. I flipped my kayak, and the lens got a little bit of water inside of it. It's never really been the same since, which means at some point I'm probably going to have to upgrade phones. But if I hang out in these shaded areas, there's not as much lens flare. Or I might even just switch streets altogether, and that kind of takes care of that problem too. So basically, for the next hour, I'll be telling you guys all kinds of useful information, whether you're trying to lose weight or get in better shape. We can cover a wide variety of things, from bodybuilding to cardio, or even sports, if that's something that you're trying to get better at. As you guys join, just drop down your questions, and we'll get to answering them. So, in the meantime, while I wait for people to join, I'm just going to kind of cook a little bit and talk about the volume diet. So I have developed what I like to call the volume diet. The whole idea behind this is that you take ingredients from your diet that are usually high in calories, and you substitute those for ingredients that are low in calories. This has a lot of customization that you can do with this. So let's just say, to keep things simple, I gotta spit again. If you have pasta, like everybody likes pasta, if you want to substitute ingredients, you can, instead of having regular, wheat-based pasta noodles, you could substitute those out for zucchini noodles or heart of palm noodles. Going to be significantly lower in calories. When I'm talking about significantly lower, I'm saying in some cases 90% lower. So that can be an example of an ingredient swap. Other things that you can do for ingredient swaps are, instead of going for a fat-based sauce, you substitute out for a non-fat-based sauce. So an easy one, if you're making pasta, instead of making Alfredo, you go with marinara. This is just one example of how this could work, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. As a general principle, I have a saying, and I'll say it here. I like to have my proteins be proteins, I like to have my fats be fats, and my carbs be carbs. So what do I mean by that? I don't like to buy prepackaged foods that have a whole bunch of different ingredients in them. Instead, I like to go out and buy the raw ingredients myself, and I like to prepare my own meals as much as possible. So when I say fats are fats, what I'm saying there is that I have no problem with getting butter, but I really don't like to mix butter with carbohydrates. So that means if I'm having a bagel, I don't put the butter on the bagel. If I'm having the bagel, it's just the bagel, no toppings. I can use that butter somewhere else. So maybe I put that on, like a steak, or maybe I put that on some meat to kind of make that more flavorful. But in general, when you start mixing carbohydrates and fats, that's a lot of the times when your calories start going way up, and you can really put on a lot of body weight doing that. And if you're on a diet, it can be a big diet killer. Now, there's multiple ways to lose weight, but all of them really have one key thing in common, and that's getting you into a calorie deficit. Some people like to overcomplicate things. They'll say things like, oh, it's not calories, it's actually, your body has to fast, or you have to be in keto, or you have to be in all these things. All of that's bogus. The only thing that has ever mattered and ever will matter is being in a calorie deficit, which is why the more tools you have at your disposal, the better you're going to be. So let me just give you guys some broad examples of diets that I've done in the past that have worked, and I'll kind of give you guys the pros and cons of them. Coming up first would be fasting. So the key thing about fasting that really works is you are completely restricting calories 100%. So if you think about it, if you have no calories coming in, it's impossible for you not to lose weight, which is awesome. But one of the problems with fasting, and it's part of the reason I don't fast anymore, it inhibits your ability to perform at basically anything. And a lot of people will try to say like, oh, fasting gives you mental clarity, or fasting gives you this or that. In my experience, none of that is actually true. I can't work my full-time job in a fasted state. I can't work out in a fasted state. So really the only time that I could fast is on the weekends. And then that means I'm basically doing a shut-in where I'm not socializing with anyone. I'm not hanging out with people. I'm not, working. It's basically you're just existing. I wasn't really a big fan of that. I did it for a while, but I'm not sure that I would continue with it. So for me, fasting is out. I know that it might be hard for some people, but I'm just, I've done it enough times to know that I'm no longer a fan of it. Keto, on the other hand, I like. So I'm not practicing keto myself. And I'll explain why that is in a second. But basically the way keto works is you completely restrict carbohydrates altogether, and you instead only have proteins and fats with more emphasis on the fat than the protein. I really like this for people that are overweight. When I say overweight, I mean 250 pounds or more. If you're leaner than that, keto may not really have as good of results. But if you're obese, keto is number one. And the reason for that is because your body is holding on to just so much fat, right? A pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So if you think about if you're 100 pounds overweight, you've got 350,000 calories on your own body that can be used at any time for energy. And you can only really use about 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day. So if you're in keto, it's a really great way to get your calories super low and still make it through the day, because if you're in ketosis, the energy you do get from food, it's the same energy that you're getting from your own body fat. So your body becomes calibrated to use fat for energy. Now, unfortunately, ketone energy is not as efficient as glucose energy. You'll notice this if you try doing any sort of performative sports, whether it's, endurance, cardio, or weight training. You're just not going to have as good of explosive results. So keto is not really that good for athletes, but keto is great for people that are overweight. If you're over 250 pounds, I would say do keto until you lean out. And once you've leaned out, that's when you transition to what I like to call the volume diet. The volume diet is what I myself follow. This is a lifestyle diet that you could have for the rest of your life. It's going to help you stay in shape and stay lean. And that's kind of what I want to talk about for the next, 10, 15 minutes or so, or at least until more people join. So the volume diet, you're able to stay in a calorie deficit by keeping your fats actually on the lower end. Protein's going to be moderate, maybe around, like 150 to 200 grams of protein per day. And then the rest is actually carbohydrates. So a lot of people have a lot of anxiety when it comes to carbohydrates because we've been told it's the carbs that make you fat. It's actually just an overabundance of calories. And those calories can come from any source. It just so happens that carbohydrates taste the best. So people oftentimes do get fat from the carbohydrates, but it's because they're overeating. If you can manage that, hold on, this road's closed, so I'm gonna have to find another route. As you can see, we got some road closures here. So if you're having carbohydrates in a controlled setting, you're gonna have a lot more energy for your workouts. And you're also gonna have a lot more mental clarity because the brain does run on glucose. So what I'm currently doing, just to give you guys kind of a frame of reference, I have, I'm about 195 pounds right now. So for me to maintain my current physique, or if I want to try getting a little bit leaner, I'll have about 400 grams of carbs, around 150 grams of protein, and maybe around 50 grams of fat. Now, these are all just loose targets. It doesn't mean that I'm completely beholden to hitting those every single day, but it's kind of like a rough outline that I use so that I'm able to stick to my own plan. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Lou? Loud enough. Let me read this. It's really, really bright today. So just a heads up. Camouflage in the dark for the ones who act hard, the devil on my left. Oh, nice. I don't know, those rap lyrics? I don't know. Anyways, the nice thing about having these carbohydrates in a high quantity, like 400 plus, I'm able to really, really excel in the gym and out on the track. So I do both. I do both bodybuilding and I do marathon running. Whatever activity I'm doing for that day, carbohydrates really, really help me get through those workouts. What's going on, Diallo? Thank you, man. It's really bright today, so I'm trying to avoid super sunny areas that give me lens flare. So anyways, I'm out here downtown Birmingham. Weather is great, all things aside from the crazy sunniness. But it's feeling real nice out here. So what I've been doing, and I've been having really good results with this, by the way, I have a bagel and 2 hard-boiled eggs every single day when I wake up, kind of like clockwork. That roughly puts out about 100 or 450 calories, and that's the perfect way to start your day. I've become of the opinion that you should eat food as soon as you wake up. And the reason for this is simple. If you don't eat breakfast, you spend your whole day being like, oh, I need to eat food. I need to eat food, especially for people that intermittent fast or do keto. You spend your entire morning thinking about food. But if you have food as soon as you wake up, that becomes the opposite. Now you're not thinking about food at all because you've already satisfied that itch. So 1 bagel in the morning, 2 hard-boiled eggs. It's about 450 calories. That gets me through to about noon. So if you have about 4 to 5 meals per day, but on the smaller side, you can get to the end of the day around 2,400 to 2,700 calories. And that's going to be a really good way for most people to maintain fat loss. And in some cases, you'll be losing weight as well if you're on the heavier side. But I still do think if you're extremely overweight, just do keto. Do keto until you're about like 220 pounds or below, then switch over to the volume diet. You'll get really good results. You could do this all the way down to a shredded 8-pack underwear model, getting in that GQ magazine. Anybody could do it if they just, stick to the program. So with the volume diet, if you check out my volume diet playlist, I'm putting out recipes every single week until I've basically covered all of my recipes. And these are all volume diet recipes that you can use in your daily life to get in really good shape. Well, I'm going to try and cross the street here. There's a lot of commotion. Let's see if this guy stops. He doesn't. Dickhead. By the way, here in Birmingham, nobody stops even at walks. Like when this sign has walking, they don't stop. So, anyways, by following these recipes, you'll be able to find different ways to have meals all the time, whether you're on the go or at home. You can actually maintain the volume diet. What's going on, Diallo? Everyone's starving themselves. It's a lifestyle change that is maintainable. Yeah, I've moved off of intermittent fasting. I've moved away from fasting altogether. I used to do it quite a lot. It does actually work, but I feel like you end up developing eating disorders from fasting. You spend your whole entire life based around when you can eat and when you can't eat, and it's not like it happens overnight. It's like a slow creeping thing where you just become more and more food dependent, and next thing you know, you're saying no to social activities because of food. You are not eating lunch with your coworkers because it's not your fasting window yet. So it's just like, I'm over it. If the end goal is just to lose weight, why not just pick the easiest approach and then forget about all that crap? So that's why I really like, in the morning, I just have a plain bagel, 2 hard-boiled eggs. It gets food off of my mind for a couple of hours. And then at lunch, I have a similar macro structure. So, maybe like 10 grams of fat per meal, 25 to 30 grams of protein, and then maybe like 50 or 60 grams of carbs. By the way, the proteins and the fats slow down digestion. So you're not going to have a major glucose spike when mixing a little bit of fat and protein with your carbs. A lot of people, they think like, oh, I can't have rice because it's going to spike my blood sugar. It would only spike your blood sugar if there was literally nothing else but white rice. As soon as you start mixing in the chicken or the beef and you mix in like a hard-boiled egg, now your body is going to slowly digest that rice. It's going to drip glucose into your bloodstream, making it so that you have less brain fog. You'll have more energy throughout the day. You're going to find that your muscles contract a lot better. Anyone who's done any amount of fasting or keto will know they get this kind of weak feeling, like a fatigue. And you can mitigate that a little bit with electrolytes, but it never truly goes away. But if you have a bagel, your muscles are just like rock hard, and you're able to really maintain throughout the day. So these are just my experiences. But again, I really do think if you're significantly overweight, keto is still really good because people that are on the heavier side, they're not really working out to begin with. So I'd rather just get someone who's really overweight to lose a ton of fat first, and then introduce exercise when their body's in a shape that could handle that exercise. Because, let's face it, even a guy like me, if you put like an 80-pound vest on me, I'd have absolutely no chance at going for a run. Weightlifting would be pretty difficult as well, because if I have an 80-pound vest on, even my squats are now 80 pounds heavier. So just getting leaned out first is always going to be my personal approach to getting to that ideal physique. There's always going to be time for training and weight, like lifting weights, building muscle, getting better cardio. It's all easier to do when you're already on a lean frame. I see some people have rolled in, so let me say hi to everyone. Let me get out of the sun too. You stopped using MyFitnessPal? Actually, I have too. I'm going to talk about that in a sec after I get through these. Mandy, starving yourself, not a healthy mindset and opinion. Food should fuel you, but also make you feel good. It's about balance. Yeah, good afternoon, Mandy. I agree. I've come full circle on this stuff. I used to be a big faster. In fact, my longest fast, I think, was 6 days. And it's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's more going on with fasting than just fat loss. But if you're only doing it to lose weight, I've changed my mind on it. I no longer think it's a good idea. I used to, but it's kind of the beauty of not being like a big YouTuber that's like sponsored by companies, is like I'm allowed to change my opinion on things. And fasting is something I've changed my opinion on. I've seen bigger channels that are sponsored by like electrolyte companies and things like that, where like the only way to really sell their product is if they kind of like pigeonhole themselves into like, it's almost like a cult, like you have to keep fasting. But the only reason they're saying that is because that's where their money comes from. But I don't have that problem. And because of that, I'm allowed to change my mind. I no longer really think fasting is a great way to lose weight. Yeah, fasting for 6 days was rough. And when I was doing it, I was telling everybody how great it was. But the reality was, my attitude was terrible. I was very snappy. Lose my temper quickly. Doing that with a full-time job was not ideal. It was a little easier back when we all did work remote, working from home. It's like if people can't see me, I'm not, people don't see me, it's like easier to fast. But now that I'm back in the office, I can't be in that state. I have to put my work life kind of at the forefront. And that's really where the volume dieting has come into play for me, because it's like, no matter what, I'm always trying to find the most optimal thing. And I'm not afraid to change my mind on things in the pursuit of that knowledge, which is where the volume diet has really kind of taken off for me. Diallo, I don't know if you know my friend Kyle, because you work out at night. My friend Kyle works out in the morning, so I'm not sure you guys have ever met. But when I was fasting really, really hard for a bodybuilding show, because I did a bodybuilding show purely off of fasting as my like main method of fat loss. Like the month leading into that, he was like, dude, you look like a zombie. And as soon as that show was over and I stopped fasting, I started getting my energy back. And he was like, dude, you got all this energy now. And it's like, man, maybe the fasting wasn't such a good idea. So kind of moved away from that. And I do think that carbohydrates have a place in the diet, that if you're using them, makes them not a bad thing whatsoever, but actually a good thing. Let me drop this idea on you guys. So if you're going to the gym and you do cardio, let's say the goal is to do like 400 calories worth of cardio. If you're doing that in a fasted state, or let's just say you haven't had anything to eat in a while, if you start to get kind of tired or fatigued out, and maybe you stop at 300 calories, but if you were just to have a little bit of Gatorade during that cardio, let's say you had 100 calories worth of Gatorade, it gives you enough energy that maybe you end up burning 500 calories. And so you actually, in the long run, end up with a bigger deficit by adding a little bit of fuel to the fire when you're doing your workouts. And this was a hard thing for me to kind of like transition to, because I spent so long in that keto / carnivore space and the fasting space that I myself was like, I was almost like allergic to carbs for a while, where it's like I would refuse to have them like by any means necessary. I was not eating carbs. And it came from a place of me being like horribly afraid that just eating a bagel was going to make me gain weight. But I've experimented. I've been eating actually predominantly mostly carbs lately. 400 grams of carbs per day or more. And not only am I not gaining weight, I'm actually losing weight. And I'm really excelling in a lot of different areas for my training. So I ran a marathon 2 weeks ago. While I was training for the marathon, I couldn't really do a whole lot of weightlifting. Now that the marathon's over, I'm a little bit back to the weight training. My numbers are going through the fucking roof, you guys. This morning I went, and I haven't done this in a long time, but I was able to dumbbell overhead press 80s in each hand, which for me is like pretty crazy, right? Because it's always one of those things you see, like the dudes that are going viral on Instagram and TikTok, they're always overhead pressing like 80, 90 pound dumbbells. And for the longest time, I couldn't do that. But since I've been carving up, today I was able to do it for multiple sets, which was awesome. And this is on top of me still running, 3 or 4 days per week. Ooh, let's see. Mandy says, I have been trying to be better about drinking more water lately. I've been severely dehydrated for most of my life. I have a glass of milk with breakfast and don't drink it till dinner. And we got a little bit more coming in here. You can keep a cute tumbler of water next to me and still not sip. I need help on the transition. I feel you on that. Drinking enough water is definitely really important. But then sometimes it's like, ooh, I'm just not in the mood for it, or what have you. I guess just force yourself to drink it. If you've got the water nearby, there's almost no reason not to. And if it makes it any easier, just kind of like chug it, right? Sipping is ideal, but if you're not in the mood to sip on it, if you're in a situation where you have the water in front of you and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna knock out like 10 ounces of water right here, then you're good to go for like an hour and a half, right? Another thing you could do, and this kind of works for me, but I drink a lot of sparkling water. I don't know if you're into that, but I find that the carbonation in the water just kind of makes it more enjoyable to drink. I used to be a really big beer drinker, so for me, a little bit of sparkling water kind of reminds me of how it felt to drink a beer. And I go through a lot of LaCroix, a lot of the Costco brand sparkling water. I go through like 8 to 10 of those per day. And for me, that makes getting my water in kind of effortless. But I also still recommend drinking salt water. So the first thing I do when I wake up, if you've watched any of my shorter content videos, like once a week I put out a video about electrolytes, just so like you never know when you're catching somebody for the first time. So I just keep reshooting the video and posting it to try to reach as many people as possible. But I wake up in the morning, I drink a liter of salt water. And it makes everything for the rest of the day super easy, because I literally pour it up and I chug it. So I get a liter of water, a gram of salt, 500 milligrams of potassium, and around 250 to 300 grams of magnesium malate, powdered version, by the way. You can get them in capsule form, but I find that powder is just kind of easier to work with. I pour that into my liter of water, shake it up. I use like the water bottle, by the way, not like a cup. And I just down it. And if it takes me 2 or 3 minutes just to sort of like get some room in my gut, that's what I do. But I make sure that water is totally empty before I leave the kitchen. And that at least helps me get at least 1 liter of water in early on in the day. Being well hydrated is really good because it's going to reduce how hungry you get throughout the day. Sometimes when you feel hunger, it's not that you're actually hungry, it's that your body either wants water or it wants minerals. So by taking care of that first thing in the morning, like I never get hunger pains anymore. I can't remember the last time like my stomach hurt from being hungry. I'm gonna catch up here on some of these comments. Let me see if I can get out of the sun here. The sun is extra bright today. I've been drinking lots of water these past couple of weeks. My skin has cleared a lot. Stomach issues improved. Yeah, I go to the bathroom like all the time. When I ran my marathon, I'll be honest, I stopped at every single porta potty that I ran by. I don't know if that's just a symptom of being well hydrated or if I have a bigger problem that I don't know, maybe have like a small bladder, a weak bladder or what, but I go to the bathroom probably once a day, or once an hour, my bad. Way more than once a day. Way more. Let's see, yeah, club soda with grape juice and bitters. A Virgin Paloma. Delicious. Yeah, whatever you got to do to get the hydration in. I don't want to get overly preachy here, but if you're able to move away from the actual juice, I would recommend that. Something I haven't actually touched on yet is that I don't drink carbs, if that makes sense. So all of my carbs are solid when I have them. So that means I'm not having juice, I don't have pop, I don't even actually drink milk. I really only have black coffee, sparkling water, and I have Gatorade when I'm working out, but that's the only time that I have Gatorade. So when you mix the carbs with water, then it becomes super easy to really overdo your calories. An 8-ounce glass of orange juice. And I don't have any nutrition labels nearby, so I might be wrong. But I believe an 8-ounce glass of orange juice is 120 calories. If some of you guys have a bottle, you can keep me honest on that one, but no one has just 8 ounces of juice. Like, that's an actual measuring cup. And real cups that are in your cupboard are usually 16 ounces starting, and they only go up from there. So if you have an actual like glass of orange juice, you're getting somewhere around 250-ish calories, and you're getting that, every time you have it. So I avoid that stuff completely because it's really easy to go over your calorie limit with liquid carbohydrates. Let me catch up here on Weronica. What's my score? What's my score for what? I'll come back to that one if you're still here. But yeah, hydration, you just get as much water in as you can. There's no like set limit for water. Maybe you only need 2 liters in one day. Maybe you need 3. It's gonna vary by activity level. It's gonna vary by body weight and your height. A good indicator that you're well hydrated is if your pee looks like someone took the lemon Crystal Light packet and maybe put like half the packet in a cup of water. You don't want your pee to be completely clear. It's actually a bad sign. If your piss is looks like water, that means that you're basically dumping your own minerals at a rate far higher than you're taking them in. You want it to really be a nice mellow yellow, like just a little bit yellow, like you got half that pack of lemon Crystal Light in your water. That's the shade you want it to be. If you wake up in the morning, you go to the bathroom and your pee is like a dark yellow, I mean, you guys start slamming the water back like immediately. And there's a balance to it, but the longer you can stay well hydrated, the better, because your body really likes being in what's called homeostasis. So, if you guys aren't familiar with homeostasis, I'll kind of give you guys a quick definition on it. In a period of 24 hours, your body has what's called a circadian rhythm, and it wants to be in this rhythm at all times. And if it goes in or out, and on multiple different things, I mean, hydration is just one of them, but sleep's another one. When you eat is another one. Your body's running on a schedule, whether you're aware of it or not, and it doesn't like when you deviate from that. When you do deviate, your body wants to overcorrect so that it can get back into what's called homeostasis. So like homeostasis is your body just being in equilibrium. The more that you can do to keep your body in homeostasis, the less your body has to do to overcorrect. So it's kind of like, we have our conscious mind. If we can consciously keep our body in homeostasis, then the subconscious part is allowed to kind of take it easy for a while. And you're going to find that everything in your entire day just seems to work better. So that would mean like being well hydrated as often as possible. So just sort of always keep an eye on your pee color. Make sure that you got that really mellow yellow. You want it to look kind of clear, but not totally clear. But you never want it to be yellow. Oh, I'm burping here. You also want to do the best that you can to go to sleep at the same time every day. And that unfortunately also includes the weekends. It's primarily the reason why I stopped partying. So I don't drink anymore. I haven't had a drink since April. But I've found, even when I go out with my friends and I don't drink anything, but I'm out till like 2 or 3 in the morning, I feel like dog shit the next day. And I'm like, wait a minute, I had no alcohol and I still feel hungover. It's because my body's not in homeostasis anymore. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I didn't go to bed at the right times. So all of my circadian rhythm is out of whack. So that's why I don't drink anymore. I don't party anymore. I try to be in bed every day by 11 p.m., whether it's a Friday or a Saturday. And a lot of things just kind of fall into place when you do that. It's what gives me the energy to be able to go out here and, talk to you guys. I don't think that I could do this. I don't think I could do YouTube in general if I was going through life with brain fog. It would just be too difficult to talk to a camera for over an hour if I'm like strung out. And that would be from not even drinking. That would just be from staying up super late. So I can't say enough good things about just getting a good night's sleep and staying hydrated. A lot of things will fall into place. Whether you're, just trying to lose a couple of pounds or just feel better throughout the day. Hydration, getting your salts in, getting a good night's sleep, and also getting outside is a really big one. The sun gives us that vitamin D. And vitamin D is a very, very helpful hormone. Oddly enough, so I'm not really the biggest science guy. So take this with a grain of salt. But your body already has vitamin D in it. But in order to access it, I guess it needs sunlight. I don't really know exactly how all of that works. It's like photosynthesis for humans or like animals, I guess. But sunlight, for whatever whatever mechanisms are going on under the hood. Sunlight really helps get that vitamin D going. It's going to be really great for hormone regulation, especially for men. I don't know as much about the female body in terms of like the scientific stuff, but at least for men, your thyroid, it needs vitamin D to create testosterone. I know I'm kind of really going in depth here, but the thyroid is really responsible for your hormone regulation throughout the whole body, and that includes reproductive hormones. So for men, if they're struggling with things like erectile dysfunction or just extremely low sex drive, that usually is a canary in the coal mine for really bad thyroid let me rephrase this. It's a canary in the coal mine for a weak or underperforming thyroid. So vitamin D and zinc go a long way at maintaining a thyroid. You can get zinc from food, like meat has plenty of zinc in it, but it's hard to get vitamin D without going outside. There's a reason why, prisoners have a lot of vitamin deficiencies. It's because there's, stuck in a cell all day. They don't get any natural sunlight. In some parts of the world, they might even go like weeks at a time without any natural sun. Just partially why solitary confinement is, such a cruel punishment. Because you would think like, okay, well, sitting in a box can't be that bad. But if your body's unable to maintain hormones, it's kind of its own form of torture. Let's see. I'm going to catch up on some comments here. As I've gotten older, currently 25, I don't want to go out and stay late and drink into the late hours anymore. I want to be in a recliner by 8 and by I'm right there with you. So I'm 31, I'll be 32 soon, but I was done partying probably at around 26. That was about the time when I was like, all right, there's nothing I'm going to find at the bottom of a beer bottle that I haven't found 10,000 times in the past. I've been to so many bars, I've been to so many clubs, and I just don't really feel like it's a fulfilling lifestyle. Hold on, Veronica, I'll get to you in a second. With the nightlife, basically what you're doing the entire night is you're standing in a line to get to whatever the next thing is. So you stand in line to get into the bar. Once you're in the bar, now you're standing in line to get a drink. Once you get your drink, now you're standing in line to go to the bathroom. Then you go back out, stand in line again for another drink. Maybe you talk to your friends for like 10 minutes, but you spend most of that time just standing in line waiting for something to happen. Most people don't talk to each other in the bars. They just stand in circles and talk to their own friends. They don't really go out and meet new people anymore. And so you spend your entire Saturday night doing this till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Then you go binge eat on some low quality food that has tons of seed oils in it. And then you wake up feeling like shit the next day. I got to a point where I was like, the only reason I'm doing this is because I've been conditioned to think that this is how you're supposed to have fun. But going out at night is not actually fun at all. And so I just kind of stopped doing it. All right, Veronica. I got you. So, unfortunately, it's a little cold for ice cream. I probably won't have ice cream again until summertime. Frozen milk, bio, I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I'm probably not going to get any of those, but I'll tell you what I am going to get. Once the stream is over, get me a nice hot cup of espresso. Because when it gets cold out, I like hot liquids. And I also really like caffeine. So I'll do that and then go watch some football. By the way, are you guys football fans? Yay or nay? I don't usually watch a lot of sports, but the Detroit Lions are 6-1 right now, which is like unheard of. I grew up with this football team sucking my entire life, so even though I'm not the biggest football fan, I'm making an exception this year. Can't miss a Lions game if they're winning, because you just never know if they're ever going to be good like this ever again. In 2008, the Detroit Lions were the first team in NFL history to lose every single game. And from that point forward, I guess I've become a Lions fan. It's like, you cheer for the underdogs, right? And now they're 6-1, so really excited to watch them advance to 7-1, right? Gotta beat those Packers. Yeah, I'm sorry. Is it Veronica with the? Is that like a German? Like Veronica, or is that Veronica? No, it's gotta be. That's gotta be like German or Austrian. Beautiful countries, by the way. I haven't been to Austria, but it's on my bucket list, 'cause I'm a big snowboarder, and Austria's got some of the best mountains in the world, being there in the Alps. Ooh, let's see. Not really, didn't grow up with it. You can understand why people love it, though. I watched UK football by watching the show Welcome to Wrexham. You know, honestly, I think watching football is a huge waste of time. In the span of a football game, you only actually watch about 10 to 15 minutes worth of like action. And then the rest of the time is either spent watching commercials, watching them get to the next play, or watching them argue over flag calls. And the flag would be like when the referee throws the flag and somebody gets a penalty. But there's actually only like 10 to 15 minutes worth of gameplay in any game of NFL. So you spend a lot of time just sitting around waiting for something to happen. Which is why, you know, I'll watch the Lions, but in general, I'm just not interested. And truth be told, you know, here's another kind of topic that I could kind of dig into, but like having hobbies that are a waste of time is kind of what keeps you from not advancing in life. I know a lot of people that on a Saturday they watch college football, and then on Sunday they watch NFL football, and that's basically their whole weekend. You could spend all of that time getting good at something, and then once you're good at that thing, you could find a way to monetize it. You know, in my case, you know, I'm not making crazy money with the fitness stuff, but if I was watching, you know, football all day Saturday and all day Sunday, like none of these YouTube videos would happen, because you know, the weekends are when I do YouTube. Saturdays I usually shoot my videos, and then Sundays I edit them. I also do this live stream on Sundays. Ooh, Wrexham. So we got a Bible verse. I don't know what 1826 is without the book number. But yeah, I think productivity is a big way to get ahead in this world. Unfortunately, you know, not to go political, I don't really want to be a political channel, but the economy here in North America, I don't see it getting better. Like, I don't think like there's no one coming to save us, right? But you can at least save yourself. And as inflation gets higher, the cost of everything is going up. but wages really aren't going up. So whatever it is that you want, you kind of have to go out and get it, right? If you wait for something to happen, it doesn't. And so sitting around watching football throughout your whole weekend, like the weekend is like a wealth accelerator. If you choose to do something on the weekends that helps you generate more income, that's just going to put you so far ahead in life. And it could be things like, getting a master's degree. You don't have to be part of the hustle culture. Just getting a better education can lead to getting a better job or getting in better shape. Yeah, honestly, getting in better shape can lead to a better job too. What is the timer? I'm at 51 minutes. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I've been streaming for 51 minutes now. But if you just get in good shape, you're going to perform better at work because, I hate to say this, but it is true. Looks do matter, especially when it comes to getting promoted. Like if you were to take a sales team, take two guys, they're identical personalities, right? So they talk the same, they have the same mannerisms, everything is the same, but one guy is 50 pounds heavier than the other guy. Now in the sales world, the guy that's skinnier is going to get the sale, and the guy that's heavier is not, because people just trust attractive people. People just want to, if you're attractive enough, if you fail at something, people will make excuses for you. But if you're not attractive, people will be like, oh, this person's a lazy piece of shit, or they suck, or whatever. And so beyond just like improving your dating life by getting in shape, it actually really helps with your professional career as well. And then, of course, if you get in shape and study and get like a more advanced degree, like I'm a big fan of the STEM degrees, that'd be science, technology. I think the E stands for economics, or maybe it's engineering. Yeah, I think it's engineering. And then mathematics. You can get a master's degree in that. You can get a really nice, high-paying job. Just anything that you can do to put the cards in your favor, you should be trying to do. Because I don't think that our economy is getting any better. I don't think things in this world are going to get any easier. But there's still hope for the common man. Like it doesn't have to, you're not stuck with your circumstances if you can kind of grind yourself out of them. And that's a long-winded reason of why I don't watch sports on the weekends. So I'm basically, Saturday and Sunday, it's like, I got my head to the grindstone. I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I not be just some middle-class guy from Detroit? Am I going to shave my head bald? No, I want to leave it long on top. I don't think I would ever actually have like a buzz cut, but I do go through a lot of hairstyles. I've tried a lot of different things, but I don't think I'd ever want to do buzz cut. I do like the mustache though. I ain't shaving that one. Let me see. The screen's a little blurry. Here we go. Oh, thank you, Mandy. Yeah, me too. I feel like I've been doing this for a long time, this YouTube stuff. I've been at it for about 2 years now. And it'd be nice to like make it, right? It's like kind of pouring everything into it. But I'm just sort of taking it week by week. It's been nice. It hasn't really generated the income that I thought it would when I initially started it, but in some ways, like talking to the camera is kind of therapeutic in a weird way. Love you too, Veronica. Take it easy. Where was it going with that? Oh yeah. It's just like, if you don't keep grinding, then you definitely lose, right? Like there's nothing that says you're going to win, but if you stop working at something, then you definitely lose. So it's like, just gotta keep going, no matter what. I don't always make my live streams, but I haven't missed a Monday once this entire year. So like I post a video every Monday. And I just like no matter what, I'm posting that video. Even if I have to do crazy things like stay up till like 3 a.m. to make it Sunday night. But, ooh, what's going on, Cam? Me and Cam are buddies from Royal Oak Run Club. That's been a really good experience, by the way. I had never been to a run club until this year. But I actually think they're really cool. They get a lot of shade online for being like known as like a hookup clubs or whatever. But I haven't really seen much of that. If anything, it's like it's like mostly dudes that go. So it's like from the guy perspective, it's like, well, I'm just making friends that also like doing the same things I like to do. I'm sure there's some people out there that have, I guess it depends on your city. Like if you lived in like a hookup city like Tampa or Chicago, yeah, I could kind of see that. But I don't know, Detroit doesn't really have like a hookup culture. At least I don't think it does. Or maybe I'm just not around it. But, ooh, the hair looks great. If you wanted some feedback. Did you ever meet up with that guy? No, I didn't. So my Mondays are usually, I go to the run club every Monday, and I think we said last week that the Andrew guy goes to the Equinox on Mondays. But we'll see as winter comes. We'll see if I keep doing the run club. I think these guys are going. I think they're going to go year round no matter what. Like it'll be February and 10 degrees, and there's going to be some people that are still out there running. I'm taking it week by week because like sometimes going there it's like really cold and it's not even. I mean it's like November 1st right now. And it's like I don't even want to know what it's like running in like 10-degree weather, but I don't know. Maybe I could make it work. But it would be cool to just go and ask like, what are my realistic expectations for marathon running? Because I'm a lot bigger than the average marathon runner. Like I'm 195 pounds. I come from bodybuilding. I'm definitely not the skinniest guy. Even if I get really lean down, I'm still 30 or 40 pounds heavier than any of the guys I saw running the New York Marathon this morning. By the way, the reason I started my stream late today is I watched the New York Marathon. Well, I mean, it's not like I just had it on my TV. It was on at the gym. And I stuck around. I wanted to see who was going to win because I was watching it throughout my whole workout. The first place winner for men was 2 hours and 6 minutes, which is like crazy. I mean, that's even faster than the dude from Ferndale who ran the Detroit Marathon in like 2 hours, 17 minutes. There were people out today at the New York Marathon that ran it 12 minutes faster than he did. So I think that's nuts. I don't think a guy as heavy as me could ever run a marathon that fast. But I would like to, it's kind of like a goal. I would like to qualify for the Boston Marathon just to be able to say I did it. And then, of course, you have to run the Boston Marathon. I wouldn't really be trying to, like, set any records there. But I just like to set goals and like, just see, like, how far can I push things. It's one of those things that's like, I don't know, what else is there? Not to get like philosophical on you guys, but like, what else is there to do in life but like work out a lot? Yeah, running in 10 degrees, that's like, I don't know how it is for girls, but a lot of dudes' nipples get messed up by long distance running. But I haven't experienced anything like that for me at least. Yeah, 2 hours. I was at the gym. They were like an hour 50 in, and I was like, all right, let's just watch and see what happens. And I feel bad for the person who got second place, because there's two people that are running neck and neck all the way to like the last like 500 meters. And then like you can see it happen in real time, that the one guy just overtakes the other guy. And like the look on his face, like the guy number 2, and you could just see it, that this guy was gonna lose. And I was like, man, I don't ever want to get good enough at marathon running where I have to be that guy. Because if I'm like 500th place, then I was just happy that I ran the marathon. But to be second place and see like how close you were to winning, but instead you lose, I don't know if I could handle that. I've always believed that second place is the worst thing you can get. Yeah, no kidding. If the guy that got second would have ran the Detroit Marathon, he would have beaten the other dude by 12 minutes. But I don't know. Does second place get you anything? I know that first place they get paid, like at least in the New York Marathon. If you win that, there's prize money. I'm not sure if it's all or nothing, or if like second place gets a little bit. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it would be kind of sweet to like be able to run for a living. Or maybe that would suck. Who knows? Maybe they run so much that they don't like it anymore. I don't know. Yeah, the muscle cramps would be terrible. These dudes were running like a 4:30 pace, which for me is like sprinting. And they ran that for 2 hours straight. I don't even really know how it's possible. But they're all like 130 pounds, so this is never gonna be possible for me. If I can do a 3:30 marathon, then I think that'd be a good place to be like, all right, that's as far as I can take it, and I'm cool with that. I think a 3:30 would get me into the Boston Marathon too. But I am gonna start making my way back to my truck. Want to knock out a few chores. Lions play at 4 today, which is kind of cool. So I don't have to necessarily race over to my friend's house in order to make it for kickoff, but do want to hit some chores, kind of get things ready for the week. By the way, I don't know if you guys watch my long form stuff. Here on YouTube, it seems like audiences are split. Like I have a live stream audience, and then I've got like my long form audience, and it doesn't seem like they necessarily cross over, but I did finally have some time to sit down and just really shoot a bunch of videos. So hope you guys look forward to that. It's mostly going to be diet related stuff until I've finished saying everything there is to say about the volume diet. So I'm doing a lot of recipe videos right now. So like for the next probably 2 or 3 months, every Monday I'm gonna have a diet video come out, or like a recipe for the volume diet. And then throughout the week, I'm gonna try the best of my ability to get back on the shorts game. I had to kind of put all this on the back burner for when I ran my marathon, but now that that's over, it's like I've got no one to blame but myself if I don't shoot and film. So I had a big shooting day yesterday. I'm gonna go home after the Lions. I'm gonna just spend the whole night editing videos and hopefully have those out for you guys by tomorrow. Yeah, it's always nice to have a a meal with my football, so I'm gonna be looking forward to that. But yeah, with that, you guys, thanks for everyone that did join. These are always fun. It's always nice to get out and enjoy the fresh air, and give you guys some knowledge while I'm out here doing it. Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. I hope that you like it. The recipes, they're gonna be shorter videos. I think they're a little bit easier to kind of like binge watch. So check out the playlist I have for that. And then if you want to watch my old keto videos, they're still there. I have to reorganize my playlist so that like everything's kind of categorized by diet style. I do still believe in keto and carnivore for the right person. It's just it wasn't working for me as an athlete, but I know it works for a lot of people that aren't trying to be athletes. So my keto carnivore stuff, I think it's all in my nutrition playlist at the moment, and then the volume diet is my new playlist that I'm putting together until I finish out all these recipes. And then if I'm really feeling ambitious, I might actually make like an ebook or something out of all these recipes that people can feel weird. I'm not like good at this whole monetization stuff, but like if I write a book, I feel like that's better than making ads for crap that I don't believe in. So it's like I'd rather sell a book than sell courses or sell like audio books for Audible or whatever. You guys if you spend any time on YouTube, you've seen all these ads of people interrupt their videos to sell you some crap. I just don't want to be that kind of YouTuber. So it's like, well, if I just wrote my own book, then I could at least promote that, and it'd be like something. But yeah. Keto, I really think keto is a good, it's also a good elimination diet for people that have gut problems. One of the big benefits of keto is that obviously is gluten-free by default. I don't personally have a gluten issue, but I know that some people do, so I try to like be mindful of that. Keto by default, you take care of that, but keto also helps get a lot more like actual meat into your system, especially if you do the more like meat-based keto, like carnivore, or like some people refer to as paleo. But getting meat in, one final thing I can say about it, so I am almost at my truck, but something a lot of people don't know is that red meat in particular actually has all the essential B vitamins in it, including the vitamin cobalamin, which is actually only found in meat, by the way. You can't get that through vegetables. So one of the things I really like about carnivore is that you're going to have all the vitamins and minerals that you would ever need. But you can also you don't have to be carnivore to be keto. I guess that's one thing I'm trying to say. But just getting the steaks, getting the ground beef, just having that in your daily diet is so great for helping out with vitamin deficiencies and getting your gut back healthy. Just avoiding things like the seed oils and the processed sugars. It goes so far. So yeah. Celiacs. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest medical expert. I really got into this for just more like the athletic side of things. But if carnivore helps with celiac disease, I'm sure there's other people out there that have done much better research than I have on that. I would say if it works for them, definitely do it. But with that, I'm almost at my truck. So I'll probably be ending the stream here in a minute or two, and then get started on getting my week planned and getting everything together. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the content. Check out all the recipe videos, you might even find that some of them still work with keto because they're so low calorie. Especially the recipe I did for the buffalo chicken boats, because that particular recipe, despite being the volume diet, is actually super low carb. So check that one out. I think that you'll enjoy it, and if nothing else, it helps, you know, spark ideas in your head of how you could kind of like make things different. So yeah, hey, I really appreciate you hop on the stream. We didn't have quite as big an audience today, so I'm really glad that you were here, because it gives me, you know, at least, if it's better than like talking to the void, you know what I'm saying? So hugely appreciate you joined, and hope you have a good week. All right, take it easy.